Hafaday, everybody, and welcome Biba to the 2024 Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. Thank you for joining us here in the Pentagon, as well as those who are tuning in virtually through DVids.
Before we begin today's festivities, we have a couple more admin notes. But the biggest one is please make sure that you silence your telephones and your cell phones. Not that we have reception anyway down here. But all right, the next thing is please note that, as again, reiterating, when you do leave the auditorium, you need to put your badges back on. So ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to please rise for the playing of the national anthem. Sorry.
No, you're good. I am all about it, not speaking.
You're next up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Hafaday again. My name is Stephanie Atalig, a native Chamorro born and raised on the island of Guam, or Guahan as it's known, with roots in the roots in the Marianas Islands. My family also comes from the island of Rota, or Luta, as we call it in our language. And I will serve as one of your MCs this afternoon.
And I am Major Peter Lee, hailing from the Hawaiian island of Oahu, from the Polynesian archipelago, and I'll be your other MC for this event. Felina kako e ho'omaka ike ho'olaulea, which loosely translates to, welcome everyone, let's get ready to party.
This month, we celebrate heritage through showcasing the diverse backgrounds of the Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander community, simultaneously honoring their service to the United States Armed Forces.
But of course, a little bit of history. Did you know that in 1978, Congress originally established the Asia and Pacific American Heritage Week? That's right, just a week. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau today, there are over 50 distinct ethnic groups that are recognized under the banner of AANHPI, with 100 different languages spoken. So imagine all that history and all that heritage crammed in a single week. And it was not until 1990, though, did President George H.W. Bush issue a proclamation to expand the celebration to the whole month of May and designating it Asian and Pacific American Heritage Month. But it was not until 1992 did Congress codify this proclamation into public law, and giving us what we have known the term to be Asian and American Pacific Islander, or AAPI, Heritage Month. Today, that group continues to flourish through the community, most recently from the rebranding from AAPI to Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander, or AANHPI, during President Joe Biden's 2021 proclamation. And I'm going to read this because it's important. Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders make our nation more vibrant through the diversity of cultures, languages, and religions. There is no single story of the AA and NHPI experience, but rather a diversity of contributions that enrich America's culture and society and strengthen the United States' role as a global leader. The American story as we know it would be impossible without the strength, contributions, and legacies of AA and NHPIs who have helped build and unite this country in each successive generation. From laying railroad tracks, tilling fields, and starting businesses, to caring for our loved ones and honorably serving our nation in uniform, AA and NHPI communities are deeply rooted in the history of the United States.
So there you have it. This brings us today, and brings us to the exciting program we have planned to celebrate the rich diversity, culture, and contributions of the AA and NHPI communities. We would like to thank the following organizations for making this event a success: Pentagon Forest Protection Agency, Army TV, the Pentagon Auditorium Team, Department of the Air Force Office of Diversity and Inclusion, Department of the Air Force Pacific Islander and Asian American Community Team, the Department of the Army, the United States Coast Guard, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of the Navy, Naval Sea Systems Command, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, and Norfolk Naval Shipyard, and all the volunteers that have joined us today across all services and partner organizations. We truly appreciate your support. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Good afternoon. My name is Jyoti. Sat Sri Akal is how you say hello in Punjabi, so I'm going to ask everyone to do it with me. So you fold your hands, and we're going to say Sat Sri Akal. Now we're going to do it faster. Ready? Thank you so much. You're honorary Punjabis now. We would like to welcome and thank our distinguished guests that are here from different organizations. We'd like to thank Mr. Taniel Gavadi, who is the Deputy Chief of Mission and Second Secretary of the Fijian Embassy. We'd like to thank Mr. Ronald Sagudan, and I apologize if I butcher your name. My name is Jagjot, and no one ever calls me that. He is from the Department of Veteran Affairs, Center for Minority Veterans. Ms. Famida Chipa, she is from the Federal Asian Pacific American Council, and she is the board president. Major General Roy Macrig, who is the military advisor to the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Manpower and Reserve Affairs. And Ms. Marianne Malizia, who is our Deputy of Air Force Chief Diversity Officer. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Today's agenda is filled with amazing performances that will captivate your soul. They are sprinkled with storytelling from amazing pathfinders within our community. And let's not forget our favorite foods just outside the doors that bring our communities together and nourish the body. For performances, we will start you off with the rhythmic beats most prevalent in Japanese folklore to get your blood pumping. Then we'll immediately shift gears to the Polynesian archipelago, where the once taboo hula recaptures its glory and continues to flourish across the globe. Like the hula, Cambodian tale weavers tell of a time of ancient reverence to legends and myth through their classical form of dance and intricate ensembles. 2,000 miles away, we will bear witness to Vietnamese traditional dances, most prevalent in the court of kings, that personify human behavior and scenes of nature into extravagant displays of life. Our last musical performance, Where America's Day Begins, is a call of respect to the past in order to strengthen our culture today while nourishing the next generation to come. We close today's celebration with a demonstration that examines Korean martial arts that stress the human body to its extremes to protect and defend in times of war. Let's celebrate the rich tapestry of AANHPI cultural arts through some captivating performances. It is now my deep pleasure to introduce our first performers this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mark H. Tycho Connection.
Thank you very much.
와, 너무 멋있어. I wish I knew how to say that in Japanese, so if you know it, like, wow, that was amazing. What was that? Sugoi. Oh! Thank you so much to Mark H. Taiko Connection for that amazing performance. I'm just blown away. And that was the first one. I hope the rest of the performers are not scared. Oh, hi. Are you back to play more? No?
Just gotta move the drum.
Oh, okay.
Great music coming on.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm Captain Susanna Palmer. I'm one of the PAC co-leads. And today I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Barbara Holston. Ms. Barbara Holston is the Chief of Staff for the Counterintelligence and Insider Threat Directorate at the Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agency. In this capacity, she leads the directorate in the development and execution of their requirements, provides oversight of talent acquisition, training, and developing the workforce. She directs a variety of services that enable impactful contributions to their directorate. She is currently on detail assignment at the White House, Office of the Chief of Staff, as an Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander advisor. In this role, she supports the administration on a wide array of president's priorities and engages with the AANHPI communities and their leaders on important issues such as advancing safety, inclusion, and opportunities for AANHPIs. Prior to joining DCSA, Ms. Holston worked as a budget analyst for the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Commands. She began her government career with the Air Force Reserve Command 445th Airlift Wing at Wright-Patterson, Ohio Air Force Base, and has also served in the 88th Comptroller Squadron. Prior to joining federal service, she held finance and accounting manager positions at Northrop Grumman and Army Hawaii Family Housing. Ms. Holston is a graduate of the University of California, Irvine, and earned a Master's of Business Administration degree from Tiffin University, Ohio. Ms. Holston is a proud military spouse, married to a U.S. Army soldier with 2 boys in Northern Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Ms. Barbara Holston.
Hi. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, Pentagon family, and friends. On behalf of the White House and the White House Initiative on Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders, or what we call AANHPI, it is such a pleasure to be here and to celebrate Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month with you all. I'll reiterate what Major Lee just said in regards to President Biden's proclamation. There is no single story of the AA and NHPI experience, but rather a diversity of contributions that enrich America's culture and society and strength. The American story as we know it would be impossible without the strength, contributions, and legacies of AA and NHPIs who have helped build and unite this country in each successive generation. From laying railroad tracks and starting businesses to caring for our loved ones and honorably serving our nation in uniform, such as Medal of Honor recipients Edward Kaneshiro and Dennis Fujii for their actions in the Vietnam War, AA and NHPI communities are deeply rooted in the history of the United States. And since day one, President Biden wanted to create an administration that looks like America while also enacting policies to advance equity and opportunity for all communities, including AANHPIs. We are part of the most diverse administration in history. We have 4 Asian Americans serving in President Biden's cabinet, all of whom are women. So that's amazing. We are proud that we have ensured unprecedented AA and NHPI representation in the administration, with 14% of our appointees and nominees identifying as AA and NHPI, compared to 7% of the nation's overall population. Some stereotypes exist for a reason. We are overachieving. This year, we are also celebrating the 25th anniversary of the White House Initiative on AANHPIs, who work across government to advance equity, opportunity, and justice for our communities. And I've been fortunate to see firsthand what happens when government focuses on ways to advance diversity in leadership, because people are policies. And any issue you can think about, climate, technology, innovation, infrastructure, all those issues are dependent on policies we develop at the federal government. And it's not just what we do, but how we do it, with inclusivity, honoring and naming our differences, as we celebrate our unity, and always, always in coalition. And throughout history, our communities have embodied that enduring truth, that diversity is our greatest strength. And between the White House Office of the Chief of Staff, where I sit at, the White House Initiative on AANHPI, and the White House Office of Public Engagement, we have, with AANHPI community leaders, hosted successful events, such as an inaugural mental health summit, 6 regional economic summits, higher education leadership development summit, and AANHPI federal employment conferences. And in January 2023, we published the first ever national strategy to advance equity, justice, and opportunity for AANHPI communities. And when our AANHPI voices are heard, policies are better and more resilient, because they're informed by our lived experiences from our rich AANHPI communities from across the country. My personal journey, my parents immigrated to this country from Taiwan in the early 1970s as graduate students in Tennessee, and they learned English by listening to country music. And my older brother would not see my parents for 7 years while he was being raised by my maternal grandparents, my gonggo and my popo, in Taiwan, while my parents struggled to gain citizenship and to save money to be able to bring my brother here. I was born shortly after my brother came to the States, and I grew up in Monterey Park, California. I lived in a tight-knit and bustling AANHPI community for the vast majority of my young adult life, going to high school and college in Southern California where everybody looked like me. Fast forward to my early 20s, like many military romances, I met a soldier at a bar. Yeah, still married. Got married within a couple months of meeting him, left my home state of California to be a young, unemployed military wife. Our first duty station was Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I had true culture shock when I arrived. I didn't even realize I was a minority until then, because I had grown up in Monterey Park, where 66% of the city's population is Asian American. I struggled navigating a 15-month deployment as a young lieutenant's wife, learning the Army way of life, and was shocked to learn about the struggle of job hunting as a military spouse. I found my way to public service in 2012 at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where a young captain's wife at a military spouse social informed me about the military's base's job coordinator that assisted spouses in navigating the priority placement program. I was quickly lined up with the GS-11 position as a budget analyst for the 445th Reserve Wing, and throughout the next 12 years as a federal employee, I've been fortunate that as my husband moved up in rank, I did as well, oftentimes outpacing and outranking him. Just a little bit competitive right there. And now, I stand proudly as a child of Taiwanese immigrants, being the first Department of Defense detailee, serving in the office of the Chief of Staff at the White House as an AANHPI advisor, never imagining that I would be here. The history of our community that I learned growing up in Southern California is different than the history that I've had the opportunity to learn while being at the White House, such as the firsthand account of survivors from the Japanese incarceration camps, hearing the stories from Southeast Asian veterans that fought in the Secret War, commemorating the 80th anniversary of the Chinese Exclusion Act, and reaffirming the federal government's formal apology to Japanese Americans on the Day of Remembrance of Japanese American incarceration. I've been able to see people who look like me occupying the highest levels of government, leading, empowering, and striving for excellence with grace and patience. And by seeing the diversity of leadership in our government, including those from AANHPI communities and beyond, I'm able to see what is possible, demonstrating what a community of belonging truly means. And at the end of this month, I will be returning back to my home agency at Quantico, at the Defense Counterintelligence Security Agency, as the Chief of Staff for CI and Insider Threat, and I will take with me the nuggets of wisdom that has been imparted on me by my friends and family at the White House and WIAMPI. And most notably, I'll remember what I've consistently been hearing along the hallways when they speak of AANHPI trailblazer Norman Etta, the first American secretary, an Army veteran, a Japanese internment camp survivor, and longest-serving Department of Transportation leader. And what he says is, you have two arms, one to climb the ladder of success, and one to reach down, pick someone else, and pull them up behind you. Thank you. Our story is one of strength and resilience, hope, and boundless possibility. And I'm honored to join you in continuing this month-long celebration of our heritage and histories. And knowing our histories gives us power, and understanding the lessons of the past can help us to see the promise of our communities. And with our stories and experiences, we learn more about ourselves and each other, as you will hear from my fellow guest speakers today. So thank you for sharing this space with me. Happy Heritage Month.
All right, it's a mess up here. Hold on. Got you. Ugh. All right, moving on. Thank you, Barbara, for that invigorating mo'olelo of your background. By that, I mean story, right? And words of wisdom. So up next, our next performer is Halau Nohona Hawaii, which refers to all things anchored in Hawaiian, living the Hawaiian way. They are local to the area and strive to cultivate, protect, and perpetuate the cultural practices, knowledge, and traditions of Nakapuna, or our ancestors and grandparents, through teachings of hula, language, chant, protocols, music, and history. This is their kuleana, in this case, their mission. They are wayfinders that look to nurture Hawaiian practices with integrity and live a life of Hawaiian values to unite people, organizations, and resources to build a stronger Hawaii community in the National Capital Region. Na wahine a mena kioni mana, e ho'okipa mai, Halau Nohona Hawaii.
Aloha mai kākoa pau. We are Halau Nohona Hawaii. Our first hula today is La'iei Kawai, which speaks about a very sacred chiefess that was hidden away in the Pali'uli Cliffs and was protected by 3 sacred birds. And our wahine will take you through that journey. This is La'iei Kawai.
Ikapulawi o malio o kahanani o egai o paleuli Ulohe bahai ikahoni mai Ikapulawi o malio o kahanani o egai o paleuli Haina ia mai kapuana O kawaya halale hua o paleu O kahanani Uegai o paleuli Haina ia mai kapuana O kawaya halale hua o paleu O kahanani Elohekai o paleu O paleuli
So in Hawaiian language, we have a term called kauna. And kauna is used, it loosely translates to having a hidden or a deeper meaning. And a lot of times in mele or Hawaiian songs, they could be speaking about a flower, but actually talking about a cherished lover or a person or a family member. In this hula, le ho'oheno, the composer of the hakumele speaks about a cherished le, comparing them to their lover. This is le ho'oheno.
Aloha ku'ule kaupohivi Ona i ka ihu no he ai ka maka Liko i ka ua ke lehu nei Kilipo he i ke kani lehua Bevelo ke aloha I ka honoi Ume mai ho I kau He ka hene Ona i ka iu no hea i ka maka liko i ka ua ke leo nei kilipo he i ke kani lehua Vevelo ke aloha ka he nei ho he no kupilia loha kule kaupohivi ona i ka ihu no hea i ka maka liliko i ka ua
Mahalo ya Oko for having us here today. Aloha.
Oh, wait, I heard no chihus on that one. One more time for halau, nohona Hawaii. Much better. There we go. All right, up next, speaking of giants, we have one within the Department of Defense. Mr. Edwin Oshiba, a member of the Senior Executive Service, is the administrative assistant to the Secretary of the Air Force, headquarters U.S. Air Force, Arlington, Virginia. He is the Air Force's senior career civilian, advisor to the Secretary of the Air Force. He performs high-level assignments following the Secretary's policies, goals, and objectives. He oversees the execution and programming of the headquarters U.S. Air Force portfolio with an annual budget of $5.6 billion and 37,000 personnel. He administratively manages and supports the Office of the Secretary of the Air Force, its 1,650-member Secretariat, and 2,400-member supported field operating agencies to include manpower, personnel, organization, budget, supply, and the Secretary's contingency fund, information, personnel, and industrial security oversight of the U.S. treaty issues, special access programs, and anti-terrorism. That's a mouthful. Mr. Oshiba is also the Air Force lead for the insider threat policy and implementation. He also establishes policy and oversees worldwide Air Force departmental publishing, the Air Force Declassification Office, the Air Force Art Program, and the Air Force Executive Dining Facility. Mr. Oshiba commissioned in the Air Force in 1989 upon graduating from Santa Clara University. He commanded 3 civil engineer squadrons and an expeditionary prime base engineer emergency force, which is the prime beef, group, and served in a variety of positions at garrison, major command, and headquarters U.S. Air Force levels. He retired in 2015 at the rank of colonel and has since served as director, Air Force Civil Engineer Center, San Antonio, Texas, and several in positions on the air staff. In his latest position as Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary, Energy, Installations, and Environment, he was responsible for the formulation, review, and execution of plans, policies, programs, and budgets to meet Department of the Air Force Installations, Energy, and Environment safety and occupational health objectives. In this role, Mr. Oshiba oversaw the development and execution of $17.5 billion in installations annual budget, strategic basing process, participated in program and financial review groups, and advocated for financial adjustments to optimize force readiness. He also oversaw preparation for the defense of these departments and Air Force programs for the Office of the Secretary of the Defense, Office of Management and Budget, and Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Edwin Oshiba. Got through that. No. Just hook me next time.
Thanks, Peter. I was like looking around thinking, who is that guy talking about? Komamai, thank you so much for being here today. I had to actually write this stuff down. I'm glad I did, because after the first two performances, I would not have remembered anything that I was going to say. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time up here, because I think you all are here to see all of the performers today. But before we start that, one thing I want to make sure I start with, there is a bunch of people that put this together. And they're generally, I think, probably in the back or trying to hide and not want to be seen. But Stephanie in particular, you guys met her earlier, right? Where's Stephanie? And everybody else who helped her put this together, big mahalo for that. This could not be done without all of the hard work behind the scenes. So amazing stuff there. Thank you also to all of our honored guests that are here today, all of the guest speakers you're here from, all of the performers that are here. They are here volunteering their time. And as I've learned over the years, there's one thing that is unrenewable, and it's the most precious of resources we have, and that's time. Once you spend it, you're not going to get it back. And so the fact that they gave their time to be with us today, and all of you gave your time to be here with us today, that says a lot. So thank you for that. We represent just a very small cross-section of a very broad collection of ethnicities and cultures that make up the AANHPI community. This event is just one throughout the year to celebrate and leverage the strength of our diversity in thoughts and experiences to advance the mission of the various organizations that we all come from. I challenge the team today, and I'm going to challenge all of you today. Let's not make this just once a year. Let's make this every part of the year, and all get a chance to experience the cultures that we have within our organizations. You know, as I thought about what to share with you today, one thought came to mind, and we talked about it earlier, and that's stories, right? We all have our own stories. Stories about success, stories about failure, stories of resilience, stories that shaped us into the leaders and followers we are today, and the leaders and followers we want to be. And there is something to learn from all of these stories. So today, I'd like to just talk story with you. As I reflect on my journey, my story, and what led me to this moment, I cannot help but acknowledge the influence that my Japanese American heritage has played in shaping the person I am today. Growing up as an Asian American, a Japanese American, in a multicultural society on the island of Hawaii has instilled in me a deep sense of resilience, determination, a commitment to excellence, and most of all, a duty to family, to ohana. My immediate and extended ohana taught me the importance of hard work, perseverance, a deep respect for my elders, and gave me a hunger for knowledge. These values, and my dad, who said, "Hey boy, I don't care what you do after you graduate, but you're going to leave the house." That's exactly what he said. It motivated me to step away from my comfort zone and seek opportunities within the Air Force. And those same values have motivated me to stay with the Air Force for the past 35 years. My career is built on these values, and they continue to guide me to this day. Being a local, somebody born and raised in Hawaii, I'm not native Hawaiian, okay? There's a difference. It has given me a unique perspective, allowing me to appreciate the rich diversity that exists within our society. It has taught me the importance of embracing our country's distinctive ethnic cultures, ideas, and experiences, and has given me the ability to connect with and appreciate people from all walks of life and backgrounds. My message today is this: keep your cultural values intact, regardless of the organization, the agency, or the industry you choose to work for. Don't diminish or don't ignore the rich values that have shaped your life. Embrace them, celebrate them, and share them. Most of all, talk story. Talk story so others can learn from your experiences and benefit from what you have to offer, and you all have something to offer. Thank you once again for being with us today. Together, let us strive to create a world where opportunities are accessible to all, regardless of their background, gender, age, and heritage. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Oshiba, for being a champion to support our endeavors and break down barriers, and especially all the meetings he has had with us in planning this event. I am Captain Julie Nguyen, and I work within the PAC Strategic Messaging line of effort, and I will be introducing your next performance of this afternoon. The Cambodian Celestial Dance Group is an independent performing arts group that is based in Northern Virginia. It is under the direction of a very renowned and esteemed master teacher and Cambodian traditional arts dancer, Debbie Yim Dos, who graduated from Cambodia's Royal University of Fine Arts. In their performance, I invite you to take note of the intricate costume dance and unique musical ensemble. In older times, these performances primarily called upon the gods and spirits, express respect to the royal courts and its guests. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the Cambodian Celestial Dance Group.
Thank you, Cambodian Celestial Dance Team, for keeping our imagination and wonder. Mabuhay! I'm Staff Sergeant Assis, and I serve under the PAC's Strategic Messaging Line of Effort. And it is my great pleasure to introduce your next speaker for today's event, Vice Admiral Andrew J. Tionson. He assumed command of Coast Guard Pacific Area in Alameda, California on July 8, 2022. He serves as the operational commander responsible for all Coast Guard missions westward from Rocky Mountains across the Indo-Pacific, Arctic, and Antarctic regions to the coast of Eastern Africa. He concurrently serves as commander, Defense Force West, and provides Coast Guard operational support to the Department of Defense and combatant commanders. Vice Admiral Tionson previously served as the Director of Operations, United States Southern Command from June 2020 through June 2022 in Doral, Florida. He oversaw and was responsible for the planning, synchronization, and execution of all current and future operations, activities, and investments within U.S. Southern Command's area of responsibility. In previous flag assignments, Vice Admiral Tionson served as commander of the 1st Coast Guard District. Thank you, sir. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. I've been around for 35 plus 4, so a long time. That was going to go a long way. So I'm glad you're able to stop there. Thank you so much for that. And I'm really happy that you didn't ask me to do any dance or anything like that. Because if you just watch what we just did with the hand movements and every finger and the feet, you would be in for quite a show if I were able to do that. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Again, I am Vice Admiral Andy Tionson. I'm the commander of the United States Coast Guard Pacific Area, and it is truly a privilege to be with you here today, to represent my service and my heritage, and to celebrate the countless contributions Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders have made to our nation's history and our nation's culture. For those of you who are unfamiliar with our small but mighty service, we are a global Coast Guard, and I describe my area of responsibility, the Pacific area, in this form. You may have heard this before, but it is exactly fitting. It's from polar bears to penguins, from Hollywood to Bollywood, and a little bit more. So that's pretty vast, if you know when you look at a globe. It is vast. And the Coast Guard maintains a presence across all of that 74 million square miles of ocean in more than 70 countries. Many of those countries whose heritage and cultures we honor and celebrate today and during the month of May every single year. The United States Coast Guard, a member of the Joint Force, is an overt presence in the Pacific. Our goal is to be a trusted partner, always meeting our partners where they are with what they need, and always seeing the threats and challenges through their eyes. We protect fisheries in the maritime environment. We enforce maritime law. We provide humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. We facilitate commerce. Every day, Coast Guard sentinels, many whose families and heritage links directly to the nations that we interact with, serve to make our world a better, safer, and more prosperous place. I am a proud member of the AANHPI community as well. I am the son of a U.S. Coast Guard Senior Chief Petty Officer, a man that was born in 1934 in Pangasinan, who found a path from the Philippines to United States citizenship through his service, through his military service. He served for our nation for 28 years. He earned a Navy Medal with a V for Valor during the Vietnam War, and he instilled in me pride for my family's Filipino-American heritage and for the United States of America. In keeping with today's theme, or event theme, honoring our heritage, celebrating our diversity, shaping our future, I am honored, just as mentioned just previously, I am honored to carry forward my family's heritage and to tell my story. I take great pride, actually, in sharing my story to the younger generation of people in the military services and our Coast Guard Sentinels, to shape the future of our service in such a way where everyone feels an inseparable sense of belonging. It's not lost on me in how profound my position as Pacific Area Commander is today, a Filipino American leading thousands of women and men as they project maritime governance across the Indo-Pacific. I am truly honored by that. I'm incredibly proud to represent those people I serve, to have a direct connection to those Indo-Pacific nations whose own navies and Coast Guards seek to uphold maritime governance right by our sides. Nations like the Republic of Korea, the Philippines, Japan, and a myriad of Pacific Island countries whose heritage is spread over more than 20 million people residing in the United States, and whose senior leaders I have the opportunity to meet with on a regular basis. For example, just last week, we met with the Japan Coast Guard to advance our shared goals and project maritime governance to ensure our nation and the Indo-Pacific region remain safe, secure, and prosperous. The United States Coast Guard, we have an ethos that's really simple. We protect, we defend, we save. We protect, defend, and save those who live and work on the sea. We protect the sea itself, and we support the rule of law. Folks, the world's eyes are on the Pacific, on those nations whose cultures are proudly represented by the AANHPI community, now more than ever. We must reflect on our shared history while responding to the challenges of the present and while looking into the future, a future that I wholeheartedly believe is bright. Our Commandant, Admiral Linda Fagan, says, "Tomorrow looks different, so will we." I believe that. In many ways, our AANHPI community, along with the Heritage and Affinity Months and in celebrations just like this magnificent one right here, are key to the success of the services of tomorrow. I am proud of the United States Coast Guard, I am proud of the Joint Force, and I am proud of the AANHPI community and those that wear and have worn the cloth of our country to protect, defend, and save our cherished way of life. I salute the women and men serving in our armed forces, and definitely the loved ones at home supporting their sacrifices. Thank you again for this awesome opportunity. I look forward to meeting and chatting with you. God bless, and Semper Paratus.
Thank you, Vice Admiral Tronson, for being here today and to share your story with us. Lei ho, I am Kit Liu, and I have the privilege of serving alongside with Captain Palmer and Master Sergeant Waco as the co-lead for the pack. And by the way, all the food in the back that we have today from Master Sergeant Waco. So again, thank you. And it is my distinct honor to introduce our next guest speaker to you today. Ms. Hong Miller. She is the Chief Human Capital Officer for the Army Future Command. In this capacity, she is responsible for supporting the Commanding General, Army Future Command, with the synchronization, development, and oversight of all things people, including civilian and military personnel, plans, policies, and programs that affect Army Future Command employees worldwide. The Chief Human Capital Officer portfolio spans the full spectrum of the human capital life cycle to include performance management, strategic workforce and succession planning, leader development, talent acquisition, development and sustainment of a trained and ready workforce, senior executive management, military programs, and human resource policies. The Chief Human Capital Officer is responsible for Army transition efforts and supports the Deputy Commanding General and deputy to the commanding general in execution of their assigned area of responsibilities. Ms. Miller's federal service spans over 34 years with the Department of Defense. Her previous assignments include Director, Civilian Human Resource Agency, Deputy Director, Civilian Human Resource Agencies, Director of the Defense Logistic Agency, Human Resources Service, and Director of the Defense Civilian Personnel Advisory Service, Employment and Compensation line of business. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Hong Miller.
Well, good afternoon. It is such a pleasure to be invited to participate in this wonderful event. And I want to recognize the Air Force for their leadership in pulling this event together, coordinating all of the forces to come together and truly celebrate the richness of this heritage. Those of you that are here in attendance, kudos to you, because these kinds of events are truly about us learning and expanding our perspective so that we can truly embrace the beauty that comes with the diversity that truly is across our nation. So as was said in the introduction, my name is Hong Miller. I am the Chief Human Capital Officer for Army Futures Command, and in that role, I am responsible for synchronizing all things in that people's space. As a biracial American woman of Vietnamese and African heritage, I am honored, truly honored, to serve my country as a senior executive service member within a major Army command that embodies the greatness that emerges from the multiplicity of people and perspectives. So the part of the theme that really focuses on shaping the future aligns directly with the mission and purpose for the Army Futures Command. AFC was established in 2018 as a 4-star Army command, and AFC was charged with transforming the Army to ensure war-winning future readiness. And in doing so, we have 3 priorities. The first is that we prioritize people because we recognize that people truly are at the heart of everything that we do and essential to mission accomplishment and success. Secondly, we focus on designing the Army of 2040. That is, we are establishing the blueprint for the kinds of capabilities and formations the Army will need on the future battlefield. And then thirdly, we are committed to delivering the Army of 2030, ensuring that the Army's priority weapon systems are in place by 2030, and that Army formations are optimized to leverage those new capabilities, such as unmanned aircraft, drones, human-machine integration, and artificial intelligence. So AFC's 3 priorities, people, designing the Army of 2040, and delivering the Army of 2030, underscore the importance of equipping and developing and enabling people to innovate how the Army will fight and win on the future battlefield. Today's event is an opportunity to celebrate the contributions made by members of our armed forces and our civilian corps who happen to identify as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander. So I want to just take a minute to highlight a few of those leaders within the AANHPI community, both past and present, who have made significant contributions to the Army. When I attend events like this, instead of talking about myself, I'd rather talk about the great talent that we have in the Army. And so first I want to highlight General Retired Eric Shinseki, who served as the 34th Chief of Staff of the Army, who made history on June the 21st of 1999 as the first Asian American to achieve the rank of 4-star general upon his appointment to CSA. He again made history in January of 2009 when he became the first Asian American Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And then we have Major General Retired Viet Long in 2014, who became the first Vietnamese-born general officer in the U.S. Army. And Lieutenant General Antonio Agudo Jr., who in December of 2022 was selected to serve as the commander of DoD's newly established Security Assistance Group Ukraine, or SAGU as we recognize. And he is currently commanding a joint force that supports training and sustainment of Ukraine's military. And then within AFC, we have several change leaders, and I'll just highlight a few. Dr. Yoon Shin Jessie Chen, who was born in Taiwan, came to the U.S. to attend graduate school. Today, she is recognized by Stanford University as being among the top 2% of scientists worldwide. Dr. Chen serves as a senior research scientist within AFC for soldier performance in social technical systems and is shaping how the Army maximizes human performance and reduces vulnerabilities by enhancing warfighter situational awareness on the battlefield. We have Lieutenant Colonel Maria Rinaldi, a Filipina-Japanese American who is a commissioned AG Human Resources Officer. Maria is currently assigned to AFC Human Capital, proud to be serving with Maria for AFC, where she is shaping career paths for soldiers in the Army Software Factory and artificial intelligence programs. She's enabling them to build successful careers, applying their skill and passion for technology and data in order to drive decisions and provide solutions for Army leaders. And then we have Lieutenant Colonel Dion Singh, who is of West Indian descent, who currently serves in the Army Artificial Intelligence Integration Center as the Robotics and Autonomous Systems and Cyber Special Operations Forces portfolio leader. That's a pretty important role. Military service is a family business, as his father served and retired from the Army, setting the example for his children. And Dion has siblings, a sister who also serves in the Army and one who is serving in the Air Force. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to mention that Army Futures Command reflects the diversity of the nation that we serve. From an AANHPI perspective, AFC closely aligns with the broader demographic of nearly 7% of Americans who identify as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander. Within our workforce, 6.4% of our soldiers and 7.8% of our civilians identify as Asian or NHPI, and 75% of our AANHPIs are engaged in science and engineering fields, underscoring their leadership and impact on the Army's transformation and innovation efforts. Now, while we see these numbers continuing to increase, we've got a long way to go. In her 2022 letter to the force, Secretary of the Army, the Honorable Christine Wormuth, communicated 6 objectives, one of which is to strategically adapt the way we recruit and retain talent to the Army in order to sustain an all-volunteer force, with the goal, and this is the key part, with the goal of helping all Americans see themselves in what the Army has to offer. And so I would say, taking our cues from our DoD senior leaders, it is imperative that we continue to make space for all Americans to serve and support their nation if they so wish, regardless of their race or ethnicity and any other factors that make them unique and special. In AFC, we often say, forge the future. That is a rallying cry that encapsulates our commitment to innovation and transformation. So together, let us continue forging the future for our nation, drawing strength from our diversity and collective resolve. Forge the future, and may God bless America.
Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Fong Nguyen, and I work at the Headquarters Army, previously at the Joint Staff. Thank you, distinguished guests, visitors, friends, families, for your attendance today. Before I present our next performers, I'd like to also recognize a member of our community. Please, Ming, if you can stand. He is our collaborator, our director of today's performance, who gathered members of the community here to share our culture and heritage with you. Thank you, Ming. Today, it is my distinct and honored pleasure to present to you the Vietnamese American members of the DMV. These are residents, students, business, careers, governments, etc. But today we present the Ao Dai, or the Vietnamese traditional long dress. Ao Dai is the quintessential and timeless traditional Vietnamese garments, which steep in traditional and culture and heritage, which is, as mentioned earlier, remained for royalty, but then it became a fashion statement worldwide. Whenever you see the Ao Dai, you are witnessing a rich culture and heritage of the Vietnamese people worldwide. Today, you see various designs, colors of the Ao Dai presented by the Vietnamese American community members of the DMV and our future leaders of America. The song you will hear is called Hello Vietnam. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Vietnamese American community members of the DMV and the timeless Blossom. Please cue the music.
Tell me all about this name that is difficult to say. It was given me the day I was born. Want to know about the stories of the empire of old. My eyes say more of me than what you dare to say. All I know of you is all the sides of war. A film by Coppola, the helicopters roar. One day I'll touch your soul. One day I'll finally know your soul. One day I'll come to you to say hello, Vietnam. Tell me all about my color, my hair, and my little feet that have carried me every mile of the way. Want to see your house, your streets, show me all I do not know. Wooden sampans, floating markets, light of gold. All I know of you is the sides of war. A film by Coppola, the helicopters roar. One day I'll touch your soil. One day I'll finally know your soul. One day I'll come to you to say hello, Vietnam. And wood is made of stone, watch over me. My dreams, they lead me through the fields of rice. In prayer, in the light, I see my kin. I touch my tree, my roots, my begin. One day I'll touch your soil. One day I'll finally know your soul. One day I'll come to you to say hello, Vietnam. One day I'll walk your soil. One day day I was born. Want to know about the stories of the empire of old. My eyes say more of me than what you dare to say. All I know of you is all the sides of war.
Thank you, Vietnamese Timeless Blossoms, for that beautiful performance. Xin chào, everybody. My name is Bianca Tai, and I would like to announce the newly promoted Lieutenant Colonel Seth T. Vieron. He currently serves as the Federal Asian Pacific American Council PAFAC Award Committee Chairman and the 2022 recipient of the PAFAC Uniformed Service Award. He's also a leader in the PAFAC DoD chapter. Lieutenant Colonel Vieron is the co-founder and chief administrator of the Asian and Pacific Islander Army Officers Network, which consists over 1.9K and growing former, current, and future commissioned and warrant officers across the United States Army, Army National Guard, Army Reserves, and sister services. He was born and raised in Northern Virginia. He commissioned through ROTC as a second lieutenant in the infantry on May 2007. Lieutenant Colonel Vieron has served in staff and leadership positions from platoon to division level in both light infantry and combined arms formation. His broadening assignments include time served as observer, coach, trainer at the Joint Readiness Training Center and on the Army Talent Management Task Force. He has deployed to Afghanistan 3 times and completed a unit rotation to the Republic of Korea. Currently, he serves as an Information Operations and Future Operations Planner at the 20th Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Nuclear, and Explosive Command. Say that 20 times fast. He is a graduate of the Infantry Basic Officer Leader course, the Maneuver Captain's Career course, Command and General Staff College, Information Operations Qualification course, as well as Airborne, Air Assault, Jumpmaster, and Ranger School. His awards and decorations include the Bronze Star Medal, the Purple Heart, the Meritorious Service Medal. He has earned the Combat Infantryman Badge, Expert Infantryman Badge, Parachute Badge, Air Assault Badge, German Armed Force Proficiency Badge, and the Ranger Tab. He's married to the former Julianne Norris. Together, they have 2 daughters, Calliope, Willa, and son Seth Jr. Let's all welcome and congratulate Lieutenant Colonel Vieron for his major accomplishments.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. I thought that they just wanted the bio to vet and make sure that it was the right person to speak, not that they were going to read it out, so I apologize for that. Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today. I want to reiterate the big thanks to Steph and the United States Air Force Pacific Islander and Asian American Community Team, also known as PACT, all of the volunteers that have dedicated the hard hours and time to making this happen. I was telling Mr. Ochibe that this is probably one of the best events I've been to because I knew when the second I came up the escalator stairs, there was already somebody waiting for me, as opposed to in other events where you kind of just like to make your way into the building and then hope you find somebody with no cell service. So thank you very much. That right there was over the top. And then obviously to all of the distinguished guests that I see here, the FAPAC President, Ms. Famita Chipa, Major General Macareg, Sir, Vice Admiral Tiongson, and then Mr. Chiba, of course, and then as many others, Ms. Hong Miller. So since I was a young lieutenant, I always enjoyed the numerous Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month observances in May. And each year, the guest speakers were usually kind of the highest ranking, or at least notable AANHPIs on post or in the surrounding area. And seeing and hearing these inspiring stories of these AANHPI leaders over the years kind of lit a fire within me to one day be able to pay it back to others and follow in their footsteps. And so I've kind of always jokingly, but a little bit seriously said that I'll know I did well or that I know that I accomplished something when somebody invites me to speak at an AANHPI event. And so this is the first time I've been invited to speak during a DoD May. Yeah, the first time I've been invited to speak at an AANHPI May event, and thank you so much. This really means a lot to me because you've helped me accomplish a personal and professional goal, so thank you, everybody. I was actually close once in 2019. So there I was in 2019 as a young major, and the equal opportunity specialist in my unit approached me and was like, hey, do you want to speak during the May AANHPI event? I'm like, oh my gosh, it happened sooner than I thought it was going to happen, you know? I was elated, and I'm like, I made it. And then the next thing they say is, hey, oh great, I'll send you the script shortly. I'm like, oh, hey, wait a minute. So you're gonna tell me what I'm gonna say at the event? And I think I didn't either understand or he didn't articulate it well, but he's like, no, you're gonna introduce the guest speaker to the event. And so I was like, okay, all right. But you better bet that I introduced the heck out of that guest speaker that year. So that's my story about how I was almost a guest speaker at an AANHPI event until today. All right, so, okay. Hey, why is Lieutenant Colonel Seth Marion up here today? I'm not only here as a representative of the Army and AANHPIs in the Army and in uniform, and also Thai Americans, but also as a volunteer for the Federal Asian Pacific American Council, or FAPAC. And so I volunteer to serve as the awards committee chairperson, having served for the past 2 years. So what is FAPAC for those of you who have never heard of it? FAPAC was established in 1985 as a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization, serving active duty, retired, and civilian AANHPI and federal DC government employees. FAPAC is also the oldest and largest AANHPI affinity group for federally employed AANHPIs. And the primary purpose of FAPAC is to serve as an interagency association within the federal and DC governments, providing focus for over 30 ethnically distinct groups originating from the Asian and Pacific regions, as recognized by the United States Bureau of the Census. FAPAC promotes equal opportunity and cultural diversity. FAPAC encourages the participation and advancement of AANHPIs in the government workforce. And FAPAC actually just celebrated its 39th National Leadership Training Program, or NLTP, last week in Leesburg, Virginia. And for those who aren't familiar, the NLTP is a program of workshops, plenaries, and networking opportunities empowering the AANHPI federal workforce, many of whom I was able to share great conversation with and learn a lot from last week. So the annual FAPAC Uniform Services Awards Ceremony and the FAPAC Civilian Awards Ceremony and the Distinguished Public Service Scholarship showcases some of the best and brightest federal AANHPIs across the government and across students. They are also a great opportunity to recognize amazing AANHPIs that are doing great things in our organizations. And so obviously as the awards chair, this is something near and dear to my heart. So please keep your ears open for the awards nomination submission window, because I want to hear from you all about all the great AHPIs doing great things in your organizations. And then lastly, the FAPAC student outreach extends to over 300 plus academic institutions nationwide. FAPAC has an annual hybrid student career fair that helps college students from any major explore dynamic federal careers and opportunities through resume prep workshops and conversations with federal recruiters from various agencies. FAPAC also has an annual 6-month career mentoring program that matches interested federal employees with mentors for career development. All right, and last but not least, each year FAPAC sets the National AANHPI Heritage Month theme. This year's theme is Advancing Leaders Through Innovation, and this year's theme is a continuation of the Advancing Leaders series that began in 2021. And so Advancing Leaders Through Innovation pays homage to the visionaries and trailblazers who have shaped our AANHPI history and continue to influence our collective future. Innovation, resilience, and a pioneering spirit are cornerstones of American leadership. AANHPI leaders have made lasting contributions to our nation's economic prosperity, technological advancements, and social political change through their ingenuity and creativity while navigating significant cultural and systematic barriers. Many of us strive to be innovative in our lives and our organizations. And for those of you who are like me, the theme for advancing leaders through innovation while inspiring may seem daunting. And so for those people like me, I offer my personal interpretation of this year's theme. And so we often associate the word innovation with brand new methods, ideas, or products. And we don't always have to come up with something new that's never been tried before. Sometimes we can try things that are new to us. They are new to our organization, and here are just a few examples. I could advance leaders through innovation by introducing a mentorship program if my organization did not already have one. I can innovate the way I mentor. I can be proactive when it comes to keeping in contact with the people who call me mentor, or I can structure my mentorship sessions better. I can schedule out future mentorship sessions and set the topic, and I can advance leaders through innovation by inculcating a coaching culture at my organization. I could seek coaching training for myself and my leaders so we can coach within our organization, and I can provide executive coaching for my leaders so they can learn and grow. I could go on. At the end of the day, mentoring and coaching aren't new things, but maybe they're new to me or maybe they're new to my organization, and that is how I can advance leaders through innovation. I'll just kind of leave you with the last message, which is, my experience has been mostly trying to connect the Army's AANHPI population and then obviously with FAPAC, across the federal government workforce. And first we have to have the platform to get people together. You've got great organizations like USAF PACT, PPOM, FAPAC, of course, Asian Pacific Islander Army officers, and U.S. Marine Corps, APA professionals. You have the platform, and you bring the people together. And I always thought that once you brought the people together, naturally, these types of relationships, the mentoring relationships, would occur. And they didn't. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? We brought everybody together. And what you kind of observe is like a 7th grade dance situation, all right? And so you have on one side, you've got, the junior, people, the people who have kind of just joined the less seasoned people. And then on the other side, you've got the high-ranking people, the people with the experience, the people who have been super successful. And then the successful people, the experienced people are like, hey, I've got so much to give, so just come take it from me, come ask for it. And then, the younger generation's kind of like, well, frankly, that's not how we operate. We're afraid to come talk to you. And And so, you can create a mechanism to bring the people together, and that's what we've done in some cases. But I guess what I say to everybody here is, I don't care if you just joined, last month. There's somebody who joined 29 days ago, right? I don't care what rank you just pinned on. There's someone who hasn't pinned that rank yet. And when it comes to groups like these, and we talk about innovating personally and joining these types of groups, that's where the people are. And so you might not need these types of groups right now, but there might be somebody out there who needs you. And so I just challenge everybody to consider that, to make the change now. And don't wait until you're 20 years plus in your career to wonder if you made a difference or you made a change. So thank you very much, everybody. I am truly grateful to have been able to join you today. And if anybody wants to talk or connect after this, I'll be around. Thank you so much.
It's me again. I try not to be on this stage. You'll ask all the folks that have been volunteers. I'm like, hey, you do it, but I'm here. Thank you, Seth. I'm going to say I owe a lot to Seth in making this event successful. He has been a wonderful resource to me and guiding me in this process and planning this event. So thank you, Seth. I really appreciate your help. I kind of stalked him on the FAPAC page and like, hey. But he's been really great connecting us with a lot of our speakers today. So he's been wonderful. I really appreciate you, Seth. Thank you so much. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce the Chamorro culture group, Hali Para Agupa. I am, like I said earlier, native Chamorro, and in our language that translates to roots for tomorrow. The dancers will perform what we call the bendishon, which starts with the katinkulu. The katinkulu is the call of the conch. Did I get that right, Dave? The song is a call to the people of the island. It pays respect to our ancestors, encourages sustaining our culture and our way of life, which is rooted in what the land provides to us and passing it on to our next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, Hali para Agupa.
Thank you, Halapara Gupa, for reminding us of timeless traditions while we continue to path our future. Nissan Bulavinaka, and a very warm Pacifica greetings. I am Tech Sergeant Irinieta Tambiangana, and I come from the beautiful paradise, the Fiji Islands. My roots run deep into the tapestry of our Pacifica Islands, drawing on the strength of my ancestors, the rhythms of the ocean, and the drums of my culture, running ever so deeply in my veins and in my heart. It is my distinct honor to introduce to you today Mr. Viliame Kuia. Mr. Viliame Kuia is the chair of the Asian American Pacific Islander Employee Readiness Group and the chair of the Champion Men's Readiness at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington. Mr. Kuia is a certified NAV-C Lean Six Sigma Black Belt Improvement Specialist. He is an active contributor on high-level initiatives, developing improvements in safety, quality of life, quality of service, and culture, including Get Real, Get Better. Mr. Kuia was born into a military family, his father and his grandfather serving in the Army and Marine Corps, respectively. He was raised with a great sense of principles, values, family, relationships, and especially his Samoan culture. Please help me welcome Mr. Kuia. Talofa afiomai, olo avanoa lene.
I get a big talofa from this crowd today. Talofa. All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. First and foremost, I want to thank God for bringing us all here together in a community, united and sharing these moments of opportunity in each other's presence, bridging our histories, cultures, and shaping our future. I want to thank our distinguished guests and our speakers tonight, and I would like to thank the Pentagon itself for having me for the first time here and in this observance and sharing my culture in the United States Navy. Everyone, take a few seconds and look around you today, here in the Pentagon Auditorium, or for those who are watching at their commands in rooms filled with people of all walks of life, or in a place of privacy on their personal devices. At this very moment, we are all connected and dialed into today's celebration, to this year's meaning, advancing leaders through innovation. To our journey's milestone, today I want to wish you all a very happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander month of May, and recognize each and every one of you for your tremendous efforts that have brought us all here together. Thank you to the Pentagon and United States military branches, also supportive organizations from all of our beautiful countries, representing nations and countries from all over the world, especially our loved ones from the Pacific regions. And a round of applause to our performers today. This is culture. What you see today, what we embrace and what we are learning, this is truly culture. This is what it's all about. Family, freedom, togetherness, looking forward into our future, ready to face our challenges, barriers, and lessons as they come our way. This is what gives us strength, what makes us stronger through generations, driving innovative ways of thinking and improving our ways of living and providing for our families, excelling in our careers, and continuing to outreach to our younger generations, pulling up one another, sharing the knowledge, and bringing our teams along the journey. Moving forward together, but also remembering our values, our most authentic selves. Behind a suit and tie is a tribal chief, and behind that chief is a family. And beside that family, a village, and next to that village is a nation of people. Never be ashamed or afraid to be you. your most authentic self. Empower yourself to build your environments up. You are safe in this environment that we have strived for so long to build and implement and observe for everyone to grow and foster the right mindsets, the leadership behaviors, and new traditions to carry on. I want to spend a moment today with you all, recognizing and paying our respect to our past and the people who have come before us, who have sacrificed and given endless amounts of fight to get us all here in this very place. Our ancestors, our mentors, our leaders, our parents, brothers, sisters, the ones who have helped build the paths that we walk on in our careers, in our communities, removing those fences that held them back, then gave us the room to grow outward and into more places they could only imagine. We are living those dreams today. The times when the path was unclear, leaning into the unequivocal and taking risk was the only option, our people followed their hearts, their sense of values, their sheer will to never give up, and trusting the next path is the right path. Their sacrifices and leap of faith would ripple through generations, laying the foundation and planting that seed for us all to grow from. For example, imagine that journey they embarked on, leaving home, flying thousands of miles across the Pacific to start a new life in the land of the free, land of opportunity, and places of dreams. Faced with language barriers, psychological challenges, being a different skin color, looking different or thinking differently, eating different foods, being away from family, learning new customs, adapting to American cultural ways, leaning into new waves of education, schools where the percentage of AAPI students was barely a percentage of the school population. Those people stood out. Or finding a job that supports you equally like everyone else. It was a lot. And those old methods that have carried and humbled us, and I mean grounded us to our roots from the beginning, we can officially say they started from the bottom, now we're here. We are blessed to be here. We are the product of a design by a generation of people who took that first leap into a system that was built to keep our family before us at a level that they were never meant to surpass. Because that very system had no idea how fast this community would grow decades and years later, today we shatter that bamboo ceiling again. And we'll do it as many times as we need to because we have the awareness, desire, we are filled with knowledge, we have got the ability in us to make the right moves and decisions, and we're ready to lead with an outward mindset. Remember this, my friends, and take this with you on your journeys as you progress forward. In this life, we must never forget our greatest strength is when we are lifting each other together. Mentally checking in with one another, their well-being, continuing to strengthen our relationships, no matter the color of your skin, your identity, or your sex or gender, building and strengthening our coalition, collaborating our efforts across the enterprise, and strategizing ways to remove the root causes that are affecting our people in our workplaces and in our communities. Please get involved. Completing, not competing. I'm going to say that again. Completing, not competing with your brother or your sisters. Do not use people as steps to climb a ladder where it is lonely at the top. Remember that. Complete that journey you started with your family or your teams. Complete that relationship you put off to the side because you struggle to communicate with one another. Complete that work assignment you fought hard to get off the ground with a team that challenges your mental models. Complete that goal you set for yourself at the beginning of this year. Complete what you promised yourself and what you promised to the person next to you. Complete why you came here, why the ones before you came here, The difference between compete and complete is the letter L, and that L stands for love. So love yourself. Love what you do. Let's give a little bit more love in your everyday life. Share the love. We are loving people, all of us, all of our countries. There's so much love in us. Let's do it. Let's go a bit further. Let's inspire by showing love, humility, gracefulness. Love means living on valued energy. And that's what culture is creating through this energy today. New traditions aligned with the people and their ways of living. Today we celebrate together our purpose in life. We learn from each other and network, sharing our stories, our environments, and our place we love most, home. I would like to spend the next opportunity to recognize and share my American Samoan culture with you all. This is the part where we connect our history and acknowledge the United States protectors of the seas, our strong and brave United States Navy, and over 124 years of relationships built on trust, resilience, and service. And as a kid, I've always been drawn to the sea. It is part of me and who I am as an American Samoan, a Pacific Islander, and as a leader in the service for the Department of the Navy civilian workforce. I am proud to say my culture and my branch of military I provided service to have a strong history. The story of the Pongo Pongo Harbor in World War II and my grandfathers that served the Fita Fita Guard and protected our naval warships in the Pongo Pongo Harbor from the Japan forces that were invading the United States or invading the American Samoan Islands. That first wave of Fita Fita Guard that protected those ships were all recruited into the United States military, and that was the door that opened up my family the opportunity in bringing us here so far away from home and creating a new home and opportunity amongst ourselves. My dedication, my grandfathers, both on my mother's side and my father's side of the family, who both served this country. My mother's father, Kosei Suafoa, United States Army. My father's father, Talalele Pulukwaya, United States Marine Corps. Also, my father, United States Army, 10th Mountain Division, Fort Drum. My hero, the man who inspired me to never give up through today's challenges and through tomorrow's lessons, teaching me to always have a plan, the man who raised me in a military home from coast to coast, but also made sure we knew the Fa Samoan way, the way of our people, who flourished with kindness, forgiveness, faithfulness. It all starts with your heart. May we all foster this today. Go with grace, spread the love, and be you. People will never forget who brought light in their lives. So thank you to my command, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, my CO, J.D. Crinclaw, my code, 100 CO.2 Submarine Division, the DEIA advocates and ERGs, NAVSEA headquarters, DEIA council team and leadership, and my amazing group of friends, my brothers and sisters that have been on this journey with me these 2 years, the Asian American Pacific Islander Employee Readiness Group, and to my family, my wife, my kids, thank you all. God bless and enjoy the rest of the day. Fa'afatai lava, manuia leaso, tofa sefoa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kukua. I'm very impressed that he has a Sigma black belt, but the next performers, they're a different kind of black belt. You know, here at AAPNHI, we realize that all of these great cultural events, the food, the performances, it would not be complete without some Korean American representation. So, Che Irmun, Kim Yohaswa Muksanim Imnida. My name is Joshua Kim. I'm a chaplain, and I work here at the Office of Chief of Chaplains for the Air Force. So it's my pleasure to introduce our next group. And as they're setting up, I'm going to pause and go a little bit slower, maybe. But it's my honor to introduce each of you to Korea's national sport, Taekwondo. Now, for those of you who don't know about Taekwondo, I'm sure half of you in here have taken lessons at some point. But Taekwondo is Do is the way of, the life of. Te and Kwan is fist and foot. So Taekwondo is literally the way of the fist and the foot. And Taekwondo has been around for about 1,500 years, and it really embodies, to me, the Korean spirit. The Korean spirit of strength, the Korean spirit of precision, the Korean spirit of excellence. And I am sure that when our presenters are ready to perform, they will show us strength, precision, and excellence. So I think they're almost done. So let's put our hands together as our last performance of the day and welcome Kong's Taekwondo Academy.
Is that yours? Down the stairs. Yeah, what's that you said? That's that, right? Yeah, keep going, in the middle. Chris, you're saying check the sticks.
Unfortunately, it's me again. I just want to, while they're finishing up and getting ready, just thank you guys all again for coming out. We're responsible for these children missing school today. And I'm going to apologize to Mr. Oshiba in advance. He's been our PAC champion and really supporting us as we embarked on this crazy endeavor. He probably looked at me when I asked him, hey, can we do this? He was like, are you crazy? But I'm going to apologize in advance. We're hoping that they don't break anything, because you will have to pay for it. I'm just kidding. But also, thank you to the Pentagon Auditorium team. Our event was supposed to be in the courtyard today, but because of the weather, the wonderful weather in Virginia, at the last minute, we were scrambling to get it all moved in here and to communicate that information to you. So I want to thank Marvin, who's hiding in the box up there, Benny Johnson, who's not here today, Jonathan, who's back there running our sound, and Eric, he's our producer somewhere around here. So thank you so much. Without you guys, this would not be possible. So I appreciate all of your support. Are we good, Master? Okay.
1, 2, 3.
If I knew there were flying objects, I would have cleared a zone. Sorry.
It's like the splash zone, right?
Right? Yeah, we would have, sorry. Nonetheless, that was beautiful and amazing. Can't believe those are children. I would not want to meet them in the streets.
Hey, but good news, everyone. We ended on island time, which is perfect. So, on time. But thank you very much. That concludes an amazing performance put on by the Kong's Taekwondo Academy. So once again, one more round of applause for them. Thank you.
This concludes the official portion of the program. We're pretty much done today. We're going to do some other stuff if we were going to be in the courtyard, but that's not happening. Again, my heartfelt thank you for every single volunteer that has come out, the folks who just attended to support, every single group that's here today, our PAC team. Thank you guys, or a few folks that flew out. Every single one of our distinguished guests and our speakers, thank you all for being here today to support. We really wanted to showcase the diversity within our community. That was really our goal today, is really to show you, and that's the reason why I wasn't the only person up here, because I didn't want to be that. We wanted to show you that there really is so much rich diversity in our community. So I hope we did that. I hope we accomplished that.
Again, performers in the audience, thank you so much. Those that have attended, just to see what this is all about, thank you for coming. As she said, this concludes our official portion. Remember, as you depart the auditorium, to please put your badges back on.
We'll do
additionally,
sorry, Peter. Well, let's do like impromptu group picture with all of the performers. If you guys don't mind just coming up. Should we do them on the stage, or we'll have them on the stage? If everyone could just come up, all the performers, and then we'll just do a quick group picture, maybe with the speakers in the front, if that's okay. And that's it. Come on, guys. Thank you. Si Zeus Maasi, everyone.